What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Recap with Mo. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and get into this finale of Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 5, Episode 22, titled Too Little, Too Late. And it's almost like we could say too little, too late for for the sisters this whole season, man, because it's been an up and down roller coaster, right? So let's go ahead and get into this thing. But before I get into it, please like and subscribe to this channel. And I also appreciate all the comments that I've been receiving and the like. So I appreciate that. That encourages a brother. So I'm going to keep putting these videos out. But I just wanted to say that before I got started. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. All right, so let's go ahead and kick off this review, right? So in this episode, we start off exactly where we left off from the previous episode with both Zach and Fatima in the break room at her law firm, right? So Zach is he's emotional right now because he's really wanting to know how can a mother leave her child in a whole different daggone city. And then not only that, but you're trying to make me be the man, and set all of these things right. And I know specifically for Fatima, she's like, I'm looking out for my best interest as well, because if it goes down with you and I'm attached to you, then it can affect my bottom line as well. So I get the gist of it. But at the same time, Zach isn't thinking logically about this whole situation. And just to keep it into context, there's this guy that shows up on the doorstep of Zach's house and conveys to Zach pretty much that, hey, I got a 9-year-old son with Fatima, and I'm just pretty much trying to, he's missing her right now, so I'm just trying to get in contact with her. So I can understand all of that logically going through Zach's mind, trying to really finagle all of this stuff there and trying to deal with it. So he's like, at this point, like, let me know, are you or is you not? I think that's the best way I can say it. Are you the baby's mother or are you not? And of course, initially she was like, yeah, but I don't care for him. You know what I'm saying? And Zach was like, how can you not care for your own child, right? And she was like, well, I don't really like it. And she was like, well, I don't really like the little bastard. So I was like, damn, like, okay. And it's so crazy because I know some for real women out there that really think like that. But anyway, let me get back to my topic here. So Zach was like, what? I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. But pretty much, long story short, it was what I thought it was. I believe that it wasn't Fatima's child, which I turned out to be correct. It was not. She was playing a joke on him. The only thing I can say about this scene, it was okay, but I do think that it went over a little bit too long. So, Tyler Perry, next time, don't make it so long. Definitely, we've been waiting for this episode, and it comes out to be something that's a joke, not that serious. So, I just thought it was a little bit too long. But anyway, let's go to the next thing. So the next thing we see. All right, so for our next scene, we head over to Karen's shop. And now this was another important part that everyone was looking forward to, because you got Aaron John, or whatever you want to call him. He's out here going back and forth with this new chick on the block, Jenny from the block. I don't even know no song. Jennifer, right? So they're going back and forth, and initially Karen didn't want to come outside. Karen was inside the building. Pam was like, girl, you don't want to go outside, see what your man going through. And Karen initially is like, nah, I'm good. And then she turns around and she see Aaron going back and forth with old girl. So of course she got to walk her little self outside, see what's going on. So she goes outside. She and Pam, of course. Pam ain't gonna let no good information go by. So she comes out there. Both have their arms crossed. They in it. Like, what's going on? And old girl Jennifer is like, oh, this is what it is. And she say, hey girl, I guess she don't know Karen's name. She pretty much says, is this what it is? You know, he gonna do you like he did me. He gonna make you believe that he's the only one. And then all of a sudden you see old girl Jennifer calls him by the name John. So of course Karen turns back and looks directly at Pam like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Like, and then she really knows this dude. I guess that's what really dawned on Karen. Like, okay, she's calling him John. Like, okay. So then Aaron gets smacked in the face. She lost her. Yeah, man. So anyway, man, she laid them hands on him, man, and then walks off abruptly, man. And then Aaron turns around. And of course, he has to plead his case with Karen, like, okay, listen. I promise you I will explain it when I get all of this together. I'm going to go down to the police department and I'm going to work this all night. Nigga, what you going to go do? You going to file a restraining order? Or it looks like you possibly already have a restraining order, but Jenny from the block don't really care. She don't put them hands on you. Now you... Now you talking about you gonna run down to the police. What you need to really do, bro, is go ahead and convey to your new girl, your new chick, that, hey, this is what it is. This was a girl that's been stalking me, whatever it is, woo, and go from there. But no, that's not what this man gonna do. He gotta go down to the police he gotta go down to the police station. So Karen, reluctantly, she says, okay. And Pam was like, oh, no. But, I've been let me go ahead and say this. I've been a little hard on Pam's character because I just feel like her character, the person that plays the character, I know that she's related to Beyonce or something like that in some form or fashion, but I just don't think she's the best actress in the world. But I guess for Tyler Perry's show, it does what it does, right? But in this scene, it turns out that this is where a nosy coworker, a nosy friend comes into play, because with everything that went down, Pam made sure that she was able to get the license plate on the old girl's car, Jenny from the block. So she said, and Karen and Pam were getting ready to go into the building, and Pam was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and call my girl down at the station, you know what I'm saying, and go ahead and get, the 411 on your girl. She was like, Pam, tell me you didn't get a license plate. She said, I sure did. She said, I sure did. So, yeah, sometimes nosy neighbors, sometimes nosy friends and coworkers, they come in handy. I just don't like them around me sometimes. But in situations such as this, they come in handy. So, all right, so let's go ahead and move on. All right, so next we got Maurice and Calvin. So, Maurice had kicked Calvin's ass out of his apartment in the previous episode and told him, man, don't come back, because he was so upset because old boy had stolen all his furniture and stuff out of the house. So I can understand him being upset, but he didn't have to mistreat Calvin like that. Calvin's sensitive, man. You can't be throwing old boy out the house, man. But anyway, so Calvin shows back up, and Maurice is then wanting to apologize because Sabrina has conveyed to him, hey, Calvin went to bat for you. You know what I'm saying? So Calvin has been in your back has been holding you up this whole time, even though it was your fault, Maurice, that all of this is going down. And it made Maurice feel some type of way. So when Calvin came back in, Maurice was like, Calvin, I want to apologize to you, and I just really want to, and then of course, without, being too serious, he started to get into the jokey side of it. And I wish that Maurice would take this a lot more serious, because at the end of the day, I know it's a show, but at the end of the day, situations like this can always happen if you live your life recklessly, where you just invite people into your home, you really don't know much about them, and all these things, and things like this could possibly happen. So with this situation, it got a little more serious, because after Calvin conveyed to him, hey, you need to stop being so jokey right now. You got a lot of people who have made a lot of sacrifices on your behalf, for your behalf, to get you out of jail. You You know what I'm saying? And now you're talking about going after Q because you're looking for your spare keys and you're trying to go get your car. I'm trying to go get my shit back. That's pretty much what he said to Calvin. And Calvin's like, I wouldn't do that. So he's trying to calm him down, just enough to get him to hear and understand the urgency of the matter. If you go out there and do something foolish, remember, old boy, the African, Sabrina's friend, put up $1.5 million for you. You go out here and be crazy, do something reckless, then that $1.5 million is gone. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you're right back in the same predicament. And that's why Bio was saying to Sabrina, like, do you trust him? And she was like, yes, on everything. But, I'm just not sure how, knowing the end of this episode, I'm just not sure how this is all going to play out. But anyway, Maurice was like, I really want to get rid of this motherfucker forever. Like, I want him out of my life for real, forever. So, I hope that, Maurice can figure it out, but I hope nothing goes down where it jeopardizes what everyone has sacrificed to get him out of that position, out of that predicament. So, all right, moving on, we head back over to the law firm and we see the two petty dudes, the two petty counsel crew over here sitting at the desk. They're laughing it up because they feel like they got a victory, man. They feel like they got a victory over Robin, and Gary is like, it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like Robin would give up that very easy, so very easily. But Hayden is like, I told you he wasn't gonna show up. I told you he wasn't gonna be able to get the $3 million. And I'm not sure exactly what Robin is doing right now. For all we know, Robin can be over there on the other side of the firm, kicking it up with the partners over there, talking about, we got them niggas cornered. He could very well be doing the very same thing that they think that, or believe that they've done to him, like cornered him into a corner and got his back up against the wall. He can very well, knowing Tyler Perry, he can very well be doing the same thing, because I feel as though that Robin is not going to go out like this. And I also believe that Tyler Perry, as I stated before, is not ready to write Robin out of the storyline. So I believe that it's not over. And from there, Gary is like, okay, I feel good. We're going to toast it up. And then Hayden is like, well, I'm about to get up out of here. And Gary's like, when you getting ready to go? He was like, you already know where I'm about to get to going. That nigga ain't had nothing in a while, y'all. Like, if a girl got your mind like that, bro, like, all right, let's move on. But anyway, so Gary asked him, he was like, well, have you vetted old girl? Tamara? Have you vetted her? And he was like, oh, yeah. And Gary's like, no, you haven't. He was like, no, I haven't actually done it, but I'm good. I trust, I'm good. I'm going to do what I'm doing. And Gary's like, well, do you want me to do it? And Hayden's like, no, I got it. But let me tell y'all something. Old girl been letting that fire on Hayden. Oh, Hayden, man. Hayden ain't about to do nothing. He ain't about to mess up that indoor, that in-house, you know what I'm saying, right now, because he living good, man. Old girl making him feel like he on cloud 9, 10, and 12. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't about to do what Gary asked him to do, because Gary already got him a woman. He fighting right now at the law firm for his woman. So Hayden ain't gonna give all that up, because he's getting all he can handle, right? So, yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing different. So after that, Gary meets up with finance Andy in the hallway with that yellow outfit on, looking like a canary from heaven. Canary from heaven. Yeah, man. So yeah, man. She looking good as usual, man. And Gary's like, well, am I going to see you tonight? And she's like, well, we'll see about it. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see about it. And he's like, okay. So while he's leaving, while he's exiting the building, Fatima shows up. And she, pretty much tells Andy that, how I feel about him. And she was like, I already know. So, and then I believe Andy asked Sabrina, how did it go with Zach? And Zach, she asked how it was going with Zach, and she was like, oh, we're great. You know what I'm saying? And Andy was like, is he okay? Is he, he's alive, right? And she was like, yeah, don't worry about all that. We good. So she was like, let me explain to you later about how I put him in check, pretty much, you know what I'm saying? So, and that was pretty much it in that scene. So, we'll go on to the next part. So then we head back over to Karen's shop. It's night now, and Pam is getting ready to close down the register and everything in the front, and Karen is back in her office, and Zach shows up. So when Zach shows up, he's talking to Pam, and Pam is trying to tell him the goods, like, hey, your boy came up here, and old boy had a girl with him. He was like, Pam, I don't want to hear all of that. But she was like, well, I'm just telling you. And then she told him, don't be doing nothing in the back. Well, yeah, he asked what Karen was. She was like, yeah, don't be doing nothing back there because I got to clean it up. And then he said, well, I've heard what you've been doing back there too. And she was like, you talk too much, right? So then going from there, Zach goes back there, and I already knew this was going to happen, y'all. I already knew that this was going to happen. Because when he went back there, he was trying to talk, civilized to Karen, but Karen ain't trying to hear shit that's coming out this man's mouth, right? Because right now, her feelings are hurt, her heart is hurt, her mind is in a daze right now because she don't really know what to do right now because the man that she thought she was going to get in a relationship, that she felt pretty comfortable with because he's been saying everything right, doing everything right, but all along, we on the outside looking in, knew something wasn't right with the Negro to begin with, but we're going to let you do what you do, Karen. But at the same time, Karen is now pissed off, right? It's hard to get over someone that you have emotions for. And in this show, we're seeing the emotions go up and down. And at some point, it was almost like Karen was good. She felt that Aaron was that support system that she was looking for from Zach. And that, okay, well, if Zach doesn't want me, then I feel like I got this guy that's able to take his spot. He wants to be with me. He's showing affection. He's giving me everything that I need, the communication, yada, 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 right? So at this point, she felt pretty confident in Aaron. But now after today, dealing with that whole situation with Jennifer, then she's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because old girl came out of nowhere. Like, am I going to have to constantly deal with his past relationships? Dealing with that whole situation with Jennifer, then she's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because old girl came out of nowhere. Like, am I going to have to constantly deal with his past relationships? Is this going to be a constant situation? So I already knew when that went down that it was not going to be well it was not going to go well at all for Zach. So Zach, I'm sorry, brother. You should have had her. You should have had a side on day one. You should have had a signing on day one, bro. I'm just being real. When she was all filled up with butterflies, you give me butterflies. You know what I'm saying? That jump was hot. You know what I'm saying? She was filled up with butterflies. So, you should have allowed her to go ahead and sign it, give it to Andy to make sure it was good, and then get it back from Andy and then just rolled out. You know what I'm saying? If Andy didn't like it, she could have told Karen, okay, let's just tear it up. But that gone. I don't even know if that's the legal process and all of that. So I'm going to leave that at that. But, now she's taking her aggression. She's taking her emotions out on him once again because now she's hurt. She's in a place of not knowing, like, I'm in a place of uncertainty. And the one thing she was certain about, though, I'm certain that I'm not signing that damn paper. She was certain that I wasn't signing that daggone contract. Listen. See, Zach is officially about to feel what it feels like to be in a situation where a woman really doesn't want to let him go. But at the same time, she's puzzled in her thinking because she knows that this guy has moved on. Also, I feel like she's questioning if Zach is the father of her child or not because I honestly believe that she knows that it's Aaron, but she's afraid to put that out there because she's still trying to hold this over Zach's head. But Zach is officially about to feel the pain at this point because Karen is not going to allow this to go down without a fight. So he's going to have to do a lot more on his end, and I believe Fatima's going to have to lift him up and guide him through this process because as we've seen with Tyler Perry's writers, that Zach, he's bright in some ways, but when it comes to trying to figure out what to do in these relationships that he has, with these multiple baby mothers, potentially, allegedly, he just doesn't know how to deal with them. On the business end, dude is up on the up and up. But when it comes to these relationships with these random women or women that he's had relationships with, he just does not know how to do it. So I'll be intrigued to see how that turns out. But so then we move to, I believe, one of the most important parts of this episode, because up until now there was a lot of fluff, there were a lot of scenes that really didn't need to take place in this show, but up until now it's been okay. So now we get over to Danni's house. We get over to her house. She's washing dishes. Sabrina comes in the house. I guess she has keys to the apartment, so she comes in and Danni turns around. She was like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, she was like, you told them. She was like, and what I'm saying, she sure did. So they walk in together, and pretty much this is their kumbaya moment. They're trying to have an intervention with Danni to see why she's, going down the same path that she did in college, in her collegiate days. Now, all of us have had those wild moments. A lot of us have had those wild moments, let me just say, in college. And there are a lot of things to go down. And out of this scene, I heard that there was a potential multiple group session. I'm trying to be, discreet when I say that, where she was the only participant of the opposite sex that was in the midst of it. And there were some other things that went down during her time in college. And oftentimes I have seen it for myself, women or young ladies get into these situations where, either they're seeking, to be accepted, or they're looking for somebody to take the place of something that was lacking. And they're looking for that acceptance from somebody who's giving them what they believe, quote unquote, is love. But really what's going on is that these people are using you for what you're giving them. And we have to do better as a community. In our culture, man, we just sometimes just let things fly. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's what happened to me, or it happened to somebody I know. And oftentimes, and I could talk about me, for instance. So one of my friends, he was in a relationship. He was having these feelings, deep feelings for this young lady that we were in school with when we freshman or sophomore year, somewhere around there. But he had mad feelings for her. But at the same time, I found out later on, within the same few months, a few months later, that old girl was getting it in with a lot more dudes than just my boy. It was the hardest thing ever for me to sit. We had to sit down with him and say, hey, bro, we're your brothers, man. Hey, we got to really have a conversation, because you're falling deeper and deeper into this hole of love for somebody that ain't really searching for you like that. They're using you, or they're just taking advantage of you or what you're able to supply for them. And it was a hard discussion to have. And he accepted it, for oftentimes for dudes, man, we pretty much get over stuff fairly quickly, sometimes. I'm not going to say all the times. But we typically get over things a lot quicker than females a lot of times. So, but I know for Danni, getting back to the show, I know for Danni, it's probably hard. And I know it's very hard for her to hear her friends coming at her at an angle that she feels like she's been attacked. But at the same time, Danni is not thinking rationally about this situation, because she's only thinking that you guys are going to judge me. You're judging me at this point. And oftentimes it can come off like that. But she's going to read all of them, if that's the right terminology for it. I'm trying to put all these words together. But she's pretty much going to point up everything that these young ladies are doing, or have done, or are doing. So she goes down the list. She deals with Andy and her whole situation with Gary and his, his ass bringing his wife in. She shoots him and all this other stuff. Whoop de whoop whoop. She goes down through there. Then she goes over and she talks about Sabrina, how she slept with Calvin, how she slept with Calvin, how she was messing around with Bio. And then I forgot about the whole Jacoby situation. I forgot that even existed. But yeah, she told me about that whole entanglement, right? And then she went on to Karen, of course. Now, with the Karen situation, it was very sticky as well because, people in the room really didn't want to upset Karen. But at the same time, Karen, I feel like you're judging me as well, but you're dealing with this situation. You don't even know who the baby of your child is. Let's keep it 100. And that's what Danni was. And I'm simplifying all of this, in a way that I'm just saying it to you all. But at the same time, she was like, I got to go. Either y'all can leave or I'm going to go. So she ends up leaving. And they're like, well, we're not going anywhere. She was like, okay, make your way out. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard for people who are going through things to really hear the truth, the facts. Sometimes you just need to sit there and allow them to say what's on their minds. And sometimes people are just not ready to talk, but she really needs it. She's a beautiful woman, man. And I just, and I know it's a show, but we can take something and apply this to our daily lives to really just think about what we can do differently in our culture, in our, in our communities, man. So, I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Get off my soapbox, man, because y'all did not come here for this, man. So let's go ahead and move on. But I appreciate y'all for listening. So Fatima, while they getting ready to sit down, Fatima conveys to Zach to go ahead and open up the door. And that nigga was like, what's going on? I don't hear the door. And then he hears the knock on the door. And he was like, what, you part? I was like, damn, you part of the Psychic Friends now? So she pretty much knew Heather was coming over, right? So she comes in, and this is the first time I can say, man, Heather look all right, man. I you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, Heather. So she came in, man, and she was like, is everything all right? And she was like, yeah. Fatima was like, yeah, come on in and sit down. So pretty much I'm going to rush through this because it was pretty much what it was. So Zach conveys to her pretty much that he's had his lawyer pretty much, or he's having his lawyer pin up something for them, and the agreement is for $2,000 a month. So at first I thought Heather wasn't going to take it, but then I thought about it for a moment. I was like, man, Heather just want a little bit of something. She's simple, man. And I love women like that who are not in it to just get all they can to live a whole new type of lifestyle. She really wants what's for her child. Even though at this point she's been, manipulated by Fatima pretty much, because Fatima knows that she could possibly get more, but at the same time she's looking out for her on her behalf as well. So when Zach tells her, yeah, $2,000 a month, Heather's like, what? For real? Nigga, well, I need to sign, bro. Go and get it going. Like, I'll go ahead and sign right now. They said, hold up, you need to get an attorney. Well, I got an attorney. All right. Well, we'll have them look at it, then you can sign. She was like, cool. And she was excited. But then she was so excited, bro. She got up and she was getting ready to give some love to Zach. And Fatima was like, hold on, wait a minute, not today. And I was like, man, let her go. She excited. Let her go and get that man go get that man a hug, man. But anyway, so we go from there. That's pretty much the end of that scene. And then we head to the people talking in the car. The non-active man, Preston, shows back up. He's talking about, hey, Danni, I need to come over there and get my clothes. I left some clothes. And Danni is out at this time. I guess he's driving her rental car as he's driving around. And she's like, Preston, I ain't got time. You always do this shit. You always trying to get back over here. And I'm going to leave your shit outside in the box. That's pretty much where I am with all of this. And he was like, well, what's up with all the attitude? Look, bro, you already told her, look, I'm so sick and tired of having this discussion about Preston, Hayden, Gary, Aaron John, and all these. I don't understand it, man. Look, you've already conveyed to her that you were looking towards getting married and you were going to marry Mindy. Now, how do you have the audacity to show back up or try to come back in and talk about, can we just talk? Hell no, nigga, she ain't gonna want to talk. Look, bro. Let me just exhale, man. Let me exhale. So that is like, yeah. I'm pretty much done. I just have you outside in a box. That's pretty much where we are, Preston. It's like, okay, that was pretty much where we left off on that scene. And then, so the last scene we come to is with Maurice and Q. So Maurice shows up into a parking lot, and he sees Q, and he says, pretty much give me my keys so I can get my car. And Q is like, no, I'm not giving you nothing, pretty much. And Maurice is like, no, you gonna give me my keys. You took my spare key and you took my actual keys for my car. And I'm coming down here to get what's mine, pretty much by any means necessary, right? So Q, he feels a little froggy, so he said, okay. So he goes ahead and pull out that, that piece of heat. He pulls out that heat on him real quick, and he's like, oh, you scared now? So Maurice looks at him, and then they go to punching. Now, you and I both know how this situation typically goes down, right? When you wrestle over guns, people's hands are either on the trigger or close to the trigger. Somebody's potential to get shot goes up quite significantly with wrestling over a gun. So I'm not sure who it is. I believe at the very last part of the scene, you see the gun actually goes off. You see the flash slightly before it goes off. But it looks like it's going towards Maurice. That's who it looks like it's going towards. But I could be wrong. I'm wishing that it's actually on Q. Because I'm tired of him being on these episodes. I'm tired of his name not being mentioned. I'm tired of the nigga being on the show. I'm tired of him all the way. Pay the nigga. He's gay for pay. Go ahead and pay him to get off the show. I'm just saying, man. It looks like it's going towards Maurice. But that's pretty much all the show was, man. I think overall, out of the last few episodes, this probably possibly was the best out of the last few that I've watched. Of course, there were still a lot of things that could have been done differently, of course, and I think we can always see that as we're looking at these episodes. But tell me your thoughts, what you thought about it. What do you think about the whole Danni situation? Do you think she's going to come around quickly, or do you think it's going to take several episodes for her to come around and talk to her friends? What do you think about the whole Maurice situation with Q? Do you think it's going to be Q shot, or do you think it's going to be Maurice that gets shot, or do you think neither one of them gets shot? I'm just intrigued to know. And then also, last but not least, how do you think, not last but not least, but two things before I get off. What do you think about the whole situation with Robin? Do you think he's at the office? Do you think that it's going to come out the way that Gary and Hayden are really looking at this situation? Do you think they won? Or do you think Robin is going to come in at the last minute and it's going to be, y'all niggas get up out my office pretty much? And then lastly, how do you think the whole situation with John Aaron and all those folks and Jenny from the block, how do you think it's going to actually go down with that? And do we really have the opportunity? Will we have the opportunity in season 6 to see the background of Aaron? Because, like I said before, I've never seen that man preach. Like, I thought he was a preacher. Then I believe Karen's mom called him the accountant at one time. So what does he do? Is he like Tommy from Martin? Like, what do you do? Like, all the time we see you, you're bringing food. You're doing this, you're doing that. What do you do for a living, bro? Like, what do you do? Because I've never seen it. We've seen everybody at some point in this series either be at work or at home. I've never seen him at his job. Not preaching the word, not doing anything. I've heard he was a counselor. We've seen him counsel. Well, we haven't really seen him doing any counseling with Gary. We've seen him talking to Gary, but nothing of counseling. So I'm not sure what he does. So maybe we'll find out a lot more about that later on in the episode. But please make sure to like, subscribe to this channel. I got a lot more reviews that I'm getting ready to do. My apologies for the delay on this. So I'll possibly put it out on Thursday night instead. So just let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.